Right, we're starting. Awesome. Hello, everyone. Yeah, not so much people after yesterday's rave. Anyways, so today I'll be talking about how to reach cross-chain interoperability. And yeah, usually the way to do it is to build a bridge. So obviously we'll be talking about bridges today. And specifically, we will be talking about the Chainbridge. That's an awesome product made by ChainSafe. But first, let's talk a little bit about ChainSafe. So we're a blockchain company who believes that only working together we can actually build a nice, bright future and reach a common goal of adopting Web3 and reach mass adoption. So my company works at a lot of projects within the ecosystems like Ethereum or Filecoin, Polkadot, Cosmos, and so on and so on. Also, we're doing audits, and we have a couple projects of our own because, yeah, like some of the projects are being screenshotted right here from our website. And yeah, that's definitely not all of them. We have some more. And having so much projects spread out around different ecosystem actually made us thinking that we definitely need to build a bridge. So talking about it, there are several types of bridges written down out here. There are several bridge types, obviously, here listed by the centralization. So we can start with centralized. Centralized bridges are run by one entity, usually by a company that you trust, and the only thing that keeps them from stealing all your money is actually reputation. But technically, they have a possibility to do so. And yeah, to prevent from that, there's like a next step, a semi-decentralized bridges, and also known as trusted federations. That's when you have a partnership of companies, or you have several entities that may not trust each other, but definitely have reputation on stake. So they preserve in this bridge. And there's not one point of failure at this moment, but the bridge is still secured by reputation. Technically, if they all come together and decide that they would all want your funds get out, they have a technical possibility to do it. And the very last step is absolutely trustless bridge. It's secured by either math, cryptography, or incentives. This is when pretty much anyone can run a bridge, but they have, for example, absolutely no ability to either transfer your funds, or they don't have like an incentive to do that. For example, they staked a lot of funds, so they're not interested in getting your funds out of the bridge. And so why I put it exactly this way, because this kind of looks like Chainbridge roadmap at this moment. And yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Chainbridge in this step. And what is Chainbridge and where are we now? So Chainbridge is an open source white label solution that natively supports token transfers between AVM compatible chains and substrate out of the box. And as well, it allows for passing pretty much any arbitrary message from one chain to another. And yeah, let's take a little bit deeper dive into infrastructure. It's still pretty abstract, very straightforward. So this is how the usual bridge architecture looks like. You have two chains and you have a server in the middle. Well, we call it a relayer. Some people call it different ways. So relayer passes information from one chain to another. Depending if the bridge is centralized, you must probably, like there's just one entity who owns the relayer. Or in case of trusted federation, also partially case for centralized. If all the relayers are owned by one entity, it's centralized. If by several entities, like every entity run a relayer, then it's trusted federation. Also, it can be a multi-signature, for example, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5, you name it, 3 out of 3 if you want it. And this is a basic setup for passing messages from one blockchain to another. Yeah, a little bit of chain-specific properties for Chainbridge. Within every relayer, there are modules that are set up for connection, listener, and writer. Connection, obviously, to connect to blockchain, you can either run your own node, or you can use something like Infura just to be connected to the blockchain. Then listener and writer is pretty straightforward. So listener listens for events on one chain, and writer writes them on the other. So then we have a set of bridge smart contracts on the blockchain. And those smart contracts are setting up the on-chain interaction infrastructure. So you have one bridge contract, for example, if you're transferring token, you interact with bridge contracts. But itself, he doesn't know like what kind of contract do you have. So you need an additional infrastructure for contract to know what kind of messages to pass around. So there is some amount of handlers that goes with it. And for example, if it's on Ethereum, you have smart contracts. If it's on Substrate, there is a pallet. Obviously, for blockchain side, there's always an admin, a person who deploys contracts at first and owns them at first. This is the person who sets up, for example, all the relayer, because to write into the blockchain, you would need an access to the bridge contract just for example, unlocking the funds or transferring the funds or transferring message, whatever. And as well, like relayers usually operate on fees. In case of centralized bridges, there is a possibility like you may be paying fees for your users. In case of decentralized or close to decentralized bridges, there is always some incentives for relayers to run. So admin is the person who sets that fees for relayers as well within the blockchain contract because they're withdrawn on chain. All right. What else? Yeah, admin also adds, in case you're a decentralized application and you want to add yourself into a bridge, admin is the person who also does it. And so it's one address usually who admins everything, but it is also possible to set up a DAO or a multi-signature or pretty much any governance protocol on top of it, as long as it controls a bridge. Right, and so with these properties, you can connect to blockchains. So each relayer will have modules for one blockchain and for another blockchain. Right now, it is possible within the Chainbridge to connect to pretty much any blockchain existing. So, for example, if you take like IBC, it has to be embedded into the protocol. But with the Chainbridge, you just like implement these modules and you're good to go. Yeah, there may be some slight problems with like depending on the block time, on finality of the blockchain. There may be some back and forth with implementation, but generally we support pretty much all the chains. All right, so one more thing I wanted to mention on this slide specifically. Within the blockchains, it is possible to run ultimately like as many bridge contracts as possible. So right now, for example, on mainnet, we have 3 live production instances for like Avalanche, for Centrifuge, that is from Centrifuge chain to Ethereum mainnet. And so these all bridges are run like a use case specific. Each of them run their own infrastructure. But technically, if you want your decentralized application run by someone else, you can just deploy it and run it by an existing relayer. This is possible. All right. As well, if you're not a decentralized application, but you're actually owning your own chain and you want to add it in relayers, like within Chainbridge, it is possible to go from one chain to the second to the third one. For example, I don't know, you minted tokens on like a white blockchain, and then you transfer it to the yellow blockchain and then to the black. So when you get back tokens from black blockchain to the white one, you will actually have the very same tokens you locked up at the first place. So yeah, this is possible within the current Chainbridge, and you can add as many blockchains as possible, and you can circle tokens around them pretty freely. And yeah, like you can add all the parachains, I don't know. You can deploy a lot of bridges on Ethereum and so on. And along with that, for example, if you were to add an additional set of relayers that, for example, you have a couple blockchains, you have a couple bridges deployed on that blockchain, and you have different relayer sets, you can actually have sort of decentralization because you have an option of using different relayer set. It very much depends on your partnerships and so on. But with the current architecture, it's kind of possible to reach some level of trustlessness just by the option of having choice of different relayer sets. All right, so the technical summary around here. What can you do with the current Chainbridge? So right now, the most common configuration is a very use case specific bridge. And usually it goes something like a trusted setup or a trusted federation where you have an admin set up as a multi-signature. And here's like a functions that you can do as an admin. And yeah, usually it's a multi-sig instead of admin, but you can as well have a DAO. Then yeah, you can bridge pretty much everything. Out of the box, we have ERC20 tokens and NFTs. However, you can I don't know, bridge, for example, white whitelisted tokens or tokens with blacklist. You can vote on proposals or like pass hashes from one chain to another should you want it. And yeah, in case you have a dApp and you have very specific, sophisticated contract, you most probably will need to implement a generic handler and then include it into the bridge. So just the bridge understands what you do within your contract. I don't know. Maybe you're a DAO that mints unicorns with rainbows. So for bridge to know that, we would need some sort of implementation for the handler. Alrighty. So what's in right now? We have EVM support. If your chain is EVM compatible, most probably we can run it right away. You can just deploy it and have it. If you're a parachain, you're also good to go because we have a substrate palette that allows for pretty much the very same functionality. And work in progress integrations right now. So layer 2 to layer 2 bridging, we're taking a look at Optimism and working on Optimism to Matic right now. And yeah. Other thing that is work in progress is silo to silo bridging, specifically that because it also comes with proof of transaction inclusion. And yeah, it's pretty hard to do exactly the same thing on Ethereum without spending like a lot of gas. So it's possible to run it on Ethereum, but not without the inclusion verification. All right. That's pretty much it from my technical perspective. There's like just a couple of frequently asked questions that I get. So can we build or deploy an integration, for example, some chain? It very much depends on the blockchain and on our availability. So in case it's EVM compatible or it's a parachain, it's very good to go. We can help out. You can reach out to us. Otherwise, we just need to analyze a lot of things, like how do you validate blocks and stuff like that, and then we can answer that question. And next is, if we can run a relayer, we do not. Maybe for now, I'm pretty sure, like for now we don't. Maybe we will in the future, so stay tuned. And yeah, in case you have any other questions, check out our documents. There's also, see the repository, documents are pretty good. You can also try TestBridge. It's run by Moonbeam. They are having EVM parachain, and they have a very nice UX. So if you want to actually click through the interface, you can like mint yourself tokens and pass them from, I think, Kovan to the Moonbeam. Try this out. All right, and yeah, then if you have any more questions, technical, non-technical, whatever, feel free to reach us at Discord. And yeah, there is always someone who can answer like any complexity or debugging stuff, should you want it. If you want to reach out specifically to me, you can tweet at Polikarpik, that's myself. And yeah, or just find me around the venue and speak to me directly. And yes, one more thing, probably the most complicated thing in Chainbridge right now, we always need a very good talent. So if you're a good developer, you know Rust or Golang or TypeScript, not for bridge projects, but still, please see careers at ChainSafe. And yeah, stay tuned for other things. Thank you, and if you have any questions, feel free. All right. You guys done? Thanks, everyone. Thank you for waking up so early after the rave. Awesome. Do I need to turn it off?